G'day guys and welcome to the Purebred Reds Adelaide United Fan TV. I'm your host as always, Ellis Gelios, and tonight we are here to review the epic FFA Cup final victory on Tuesday night at Cooper Stadium against Sydney FC, and also to preview the big round 3 encounter against Central Coast Mariners this Sunday, November the 4th, 4:30 PM kickoff local time in South Australia. First of all, getting into the review of the huge cup final on Tuesday night. What a victory it was. Just to begin with, obviously a Craig Goodwin masterclass, scored 2 epic goals, the free kick and then that half volley, which was just delightful, sent the United fans up to their feet in raptures, and just played a fantastic game. He's in epic form. Obviously scored the goal, the equaliser against the Newcastle Jets the Friday night before in round 2 of the league. And the talk about Craig Goodwin across the league at the moment is just reached fever point, really. We're now obviously talking about Socceroos contention, particularly with the Asian Cup coming up in January, and also given that we're now a little bit light on wingers within squad depth after, unfortunately, Daniel Arzani, Socceroos Bolter and Celtic player, went down with a suspected ACL injury this morning for Celtic. So Craig Goodwin, lots of questions are going to be asked if Graham Arnold doesn't at least take him for the Asian Cup. You'd expect that he does, if he does get on the plane, that he's going to definitely get minutes if he keeps up this kind of form. Now, the one thing I want to quickly delve into regarding Goodwin, if he keeps up this kind of form throughout the rest of the A-League season, is it realistic that we can keep him beyond this year, or this A-League season I should say? Because, I mean, the pressure from outside clubs to take him from us is going to be insurmountable. And obviously for Craig, he is 26 now, we can't forget that. So, he's probably got one chance left to really give Europe a proper crack. Surely you'd think, if he persists with this kind of form between now and the end of the A-League season, clubs will come knocking on the door for him. Whether it's Asia or Europe, you'd expect that there's definitely offers, and I just want to pose the question, how long can we realistically keep him at Adelaide United? It'd be very sad to see him go, because he's a favourite son, he's an Adelaide boy, and a championship winning player, obviously from the 2015-16 season. So he's loved by all United fans, and for us to lose him would be devastating, but obviously fantastic for him to get another chance in Europe. How long though can we realistically keep hold of him? I'm not sure that we'd be able to block offers from other clubs, whether it's, like I said, Asia or Europe. I can see 100% us struggling to keep him. So yeah, there's that to obviously consider and keep in the back of our minds, but let's just enjoy him while we've got him. Anyway, Sydney, were they second best on the night? I think definitely. Steve Corica came out in his full-time press conference and said that he thought Sydney did enough to win the game. Don't know what he's smoking. Given that we had quite a few important players absent on the night, I don't understand how he can possibly say Sydney were the better team. I thought, their only goal came from a mistake. Let's firstly not forget that. And I think given that we didn't have a number 9 again, we were by far the better team. Continually sort of, trying to create chances. We're on the front foot. There were sustained periods where we sat back, obviously, but you'd think that we had to do that, given that we didn't have someone holding up the play for us. So, yeah, I thought overall we were the better team. We definitely deserved to win it. So I don't know what Steve Corica is going on about there. Is this a performance which supports the case that we can play well and be competitive without a number 9? All the talk from the start of the season, before the start of the season, first 2 rounds in, it's always been about how we're going to score goals, we're going to struggle, we're so thin up there. Well, I'll tell you what, we're pretty on the money on Tuesday night in the Cup without a striker. Does that support the case that maybe we can, not have to rely on the likes of Bubba Diawara and George Blackwood being injury-free this season? Can we occasionally, hope that Ben Halloran can do a job for us as a number 9 and hopefully play as well as we did against Sydney on other occasions when you'd assume we're going to, it's not going to be the first time, these first 2 rounds, that we're going to be missing key personnel up forward. So there's that to consider. For me, Halloran and Boland were also worthy mentions on the night. I thought Ben Halloran, his work rate was immense. I know he didn't really create much of a chance for himself on the night, but he ran his socks off, and he obviously had a set of instructions that were given to him from Marco Kurz, and he carried them out superbly, I thought, given that it's 100% not a natural position for him to play in. And Mirko Boland, it was touch and go whether he was going to play. Thank God he did. We really need him in midfield. Him and Isaias in midfield, different kettle of fish when they're both there. So great that he was fit on the night in the Cup final, and hopefully he's fit between now and the end of the season as often as possible. Just finally, from the fallout from the FFA Cup win, I want to talk about the fact that it was such an amazing crowd, obviously an amazing atmosphere as well. Almost a sold out attendance on the night. I think it was sold out officially, but not everyone that had a ticket obviously came, as usually happens. But massive crowd, obviously. And you can see how much of a difference it makes to Cooper Stadium when there's so many people all getting behind the chants and continually supporting the team whenever we attack. It's just such a boisterous atmosphere, and I just want to ask the question, after that spectacle with such an amazing crowd in, what's it going to take to fill Cooper Stadium every week? We live in South Australia, we don't get consistently terrible weather. It's the summer. The football is mostly good. What's it going to take to just get that kind of feeling whenever we play regular matches, and when it's not just a finals game or a cup final? What can we realistically do more to try and get that kind of crowd in more often? I think it's insane. Just start getting behind the team. I'm sick of these people that only care about coming out and supporting the team when it's a big game that's massively advertised in the media, and suddenly everyone feels like they need a ticket when the rest of the time they're nowhere to be seen. It just annoys me. It really does annoy me. You've got nothing better to do, I'm sure. Just get yourself to 5, 6 A-League games in the calendar year, as opposed to only coming out whenever it's a huge occasion. That's just my opinion. I saw a lot of Richie Alagich 2006 Guernseys that I don't usually see at Cooper Stadium, and I'm there an awful lot of the time. It raises a few questions. Where are you the rest of the time? start supporting the team more. Let's see some healthier attendances between now and the end of the current A-League season. Okay, so just getting into the Central Coast Mariners preview for the game on Sunday. Round 3, of course, ins for Adelaide United, and a lot of big ones. Ryan Kitto, Nikola Mileuzic, Mirko Boland, and certainly a very welcome addition this week is Apostolos Stamatolopoulos, who returns from international duty, a number 9, an out-and-out striker. What we've been craving throughout the entire first bit of this A-League season. Finally, we're going to have a reliable striker. So that's a huge in for us. Unfortunately, it comes at a big cost with the outs that we have in Baba Diawara and Georgie Blackwood. Concerning. Apparently the word is that Bubba's doing a lot of hard work to get himself fit, but is that going to cut it? Is he just the kind of player that's continually going to break down and isn't going to really be able to adapt to, the harder surfaces in Australia, the more physical side of the game here? Very injury-prone player for as long as he's been with us. I doubt that he's going to be able to consistently make himself available. But anyway, that's a story for another time. The ins for the Mariners, Andrew Hall and Matt Miller. And luckily for them, no outs. Now, just historically, firstly, Central Coast won the Wooden Spoon last season, finished dead bottom. Here's an interesting one. Overall, throughout the history of the A-League, we've beaten them 18 times, they've beaten us 18 times, and we've drawn 7 times. Pretty tight. We've scored 62 goals against them, they've scored 61 goals against us, so pretty much neck and neck there. Now this season they are much more resolute under Mike Mulvey, we've got to say. In my opinion, they'll be counter-attacking against us. They'll definitely try and hold out, score a few goals on the break, or at least one. That will certainly be the kind of style that we see them come out with, in my opinion, despite it being a home game for them. That's what we've seen in the first 2 rounds with them so far this season. They've drawn both their games 1-1 so far this season. So they drew in round 1 with Brisbane and then drew against Melbourne City last weekend. Now, for me, they're key players. Ross McCormack, a player who definitely impressed a lot with Melbourne City. He's an important out-and-out kind of striker for them this season. But someone we probably don't know a whole lot about, who's been phenomenal for me in the first 2 rounds of the league, is a gentleman by the name of Khalifa Cisse. He plays as a centre half for them, and for me he's been one of the best players so far this season. He's extremely underrated, and interestingly about him, he was about to retire before he got a late call from Mike Mulvey to come out and play for the Mariners this season. Boy, has he been instrumental so far in how they've gone about their business, and watch out for him. He will definitely be a big presence for them in their back 4 on Sunday. Also look out for Aidan O'Neill, very sturdy, solid midfielder who has been on the books of Burnley in his young career so far, and he's been an awesome signing for them. Really a fantastic player with the way that they want to play, holding type player in their midfield. That pretty much brings me to my prediction for Sunday. I'm going for a 3-3 draw, so plenty of action, hopefully a very entertaining game. I think it'll be extremely open. Both teams play a similar style, or have done so far this season, so I think that'll cause the game to open up a lot. I think both teams will sort of underestimate each other in one way or another, and I see us definitely playing an expansive style, but I think that they'll hurt us on the break. So I'm going for a 3-3 draw. hopefully I'm wrong and United get the points on the day. I just want to conclude by saying make sure that you get all your news for Adelaide United from AUFC News and the Adelaide United supporter page, and also the Reds, another Facebook page. They're all very active, always updating us with news when it comes to all the operations of the Adelaide United Football Club. And I just want to finish by saying, if you've got any questions at all, at any point, please pose them to me on Facebook. Just write them on the message board of the Facebook page, or if you've got any questions from the fallout of Sunday's game, please pose them to me. I'd love to hear from you and answer those questions on the very next episode when I can do. Make sure you get liking. Subscribe on YouTube as well. All the videos are on the YouTube library, but we're not getting too many subscribers on there because I'm not promoting it too much. But make sure you get everyone around that, because eventually I want to start pretty much only uploading videos onto YouTube. So if you don't subscribe to the YouTube channel, you may find yourself falling short of accessing future Purebred Reds content. But yeah, make sure that you get onto the YouTube subscriptions and share the page as often as you can. Fan cams have been brilliant, everyone's getting around them. We just want to get the other videos getting some good analytics as well. So make sure you share everything. Once again, I've been your host, Ellis Galios, and we'll see you soon. Thanks, guys.